cents, but maybe it should be included as well as, this is dependent on an appraisal meeting the sale price.
What was the interest rate for
I think it's 5%.
the Board of Investments or?
Oh, that one was 3.7 if I'm not mistaken. And that one will change every March. So it just went up this past March and then it would change again next month or next year.
Is this price only the price if we go with their loan, or that's just we get this loan, we get this price if we finance, and the price is difference if we finance with somebody else?
That I don't know. I haven't asked, based on that $30,000 reduction. I kinda thought, let's just go with this.
Okay.
So I didn't ask Tyler about that.
All right. I know
We
we talked
certainly
about,
can.
borrowing a little extra to do the upgrades.
Yeah, yeah.
Would
we
they
could-
still, would
Mhm.
they consider that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And we would do that through BOI at the lower interest rate that changes, because that one we could pay off right away if they jacked it up too much.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And this is on the agenda too, again, for Monday. You guys have, wanna wait, or, I do think we should respond back to Tyler that, if we wanna go this route, we want that one and maybe 2 conditions added. I think that's it, though.
Is this public information?
Yes.
May I? And my only comment is, and I am not here to compete with you on that. My only thought is, and it's more of a philosophical thing. Previous commissions picked up land over the years and it continued to grow. And that's one thing about counties, they always have money or the ability to borrow money when you don't have money. The public doesn't, so the county ends up over, a 100-year period, ends up acquiring a lot of land. That's how we paid for a generous amount of the jail, is our commission went, hold on, look how much land we own. And so we sold it, we put it up for auction and got it back on the tax rolls. So we collected money to apply to that debt, and so that was one of our things. The ability is out there if you want to let private parties buy that and turn around and lease it back to you at your terms. That's available if you want to broach that. So.
We've talked about that, Steve.
I think you're getting a very good deal.
I think I'm good with this, if they'll add the other 2 conditions we got onto it, I don't see why not. And then also, how long before they would do this evaluation?
The phase 1,
Yeah, are they gonna drill, or what are they gonna do, or they already have some test wells in that area, right?
exactly. I think Eric Seidensticker just needs to catch up with the right people at DEQ and get an update on that. I'm not sure of what that process is, but since they already have the wells, it should be a really easy step. The thought was the guess estimate on the price is probably $1,500 to $3,000, or $1,500 to $3,000, not $15. But again, with a $30,000 reduction, we're talking 5 to 10% of that for the phase one. So, but yeah, they've been monitoring it for a couple decades now, so, all we need to do is that final step, clean bill of health and get the paperwork on that.
Okay.
And then what I would think is we could go ahead and contact an appraiser, right away, and, at least have those steps covered.
I don't think so.
Have they still indicated that they wanna be moved out the end of, is it May?
That's what I'm hearing, but I didn't double check with Tyler. What I said to Tyler was, I will want a phase one. In fact, my email's right here, it's really short. And, I'll take this to the commission.
Yes.
That was it.
Okay.
So I didn't get into any details, at all. I didn't want to step out too quickly without having, full commission support.
Anything else from Corey? I mean, he was okay with everything else?
He was, I'll show you here's his questions, and most of them are policy questions.
Sure.
Tyler's the one who said, to have the county attorney review, so I shipped it to him.
Yep.
And then, just from our conversations, had answers to the policy questions.
Okay.
Yes, Tim?
Mr. Chairman, real quick question. Just for clarification, I understand the issue is on next week's agenda, and there's mention of possibly closing by the end of May of making a decision. So is that kind of where we're at? We're still in the air on this particular issue before the county? As far as, or is there a date kind of in mind as far as bringing this to a conclusion?
Well, I think their deadline is, the opportunity wants to be out of there by the 1st of May, right? That's not any obligation on our part, is it?
No, I was just curious as to when they thought they would be out.
Yeah. And I would think, it's probably unrealistic at this point, but it would be nice to get our ambulances moved as soon as possible, even if the rest has to wait. We have some, folks that'll be out. That could delay things a little bit on our side, so, yeah, I don't think we have a timeline yet.
Right, I guess the other thing I'm thinking about is, we still have the remediation on the ambulance building. I don't wanna miss that window.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I have not followed up with Mark yet,
Okay.
to come to a meeting, or with you and the rest of that board,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
we'll do
that's the deadline for when they get done in Lewistown to come over here. So when they get done there, is this where they're coming to next?
That I don't know for sure. So I don't know their time frame or how that works. And that would be probably something for Eric again on the brownfields, yeah.
I guess in answer to your question, Tim, our timeline is the sooner the better.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with us proceeding forward, adding those two items. And I guess we do need to get an appraiser to get that part taken care of. Let's get that done.
Okay. We work a lot with Jeannie. I was thinking I'd just give her a call. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, it works for me.
Sure.
Okay. And then what I would like is a motion and a vote, just to make sure that we have it on the record.
Okay, so we'll entertain a motion for this, for the purchase.
Correct.
Said motion.
All right, do you want to make that your motion, or would you like me to make the motion? I'm easy either way.
I'll go ahead and make a motion. I guess I move that we proceed with the offer from Opportunity Bank. And we'll add the two items of phase one and the evaluation. I guess that's it.
Is there a second to motion?
I will second that motion.
Yes, Tim?
One more question, Mr. Chairman, on your phase one that you're speaking about, can you give a quick summary of what phase one is?
I think we did a little bit, but I'll go into it with more detail. So right now, the ambulance building is sitting on top of a petroleum lake.
Right.
It also has black mold in it, asbestos and something else. So phase one is through brownfields, and it is to give a building a clean bill of health, that it is not sitting on a petroleum lake, does not have a black mold issue, or any of the other environmental issues. So that's what we'll be doing, is phase one is a clean bill of health, kind of like we said before.
Yeah. The idea, Tim, is we don't want to jump from one issue to the same issue, right?
Exactly. And that's why I thought, because the two buildings can get mixed up, because they've been here for a long time, and the history there, so that's why I asked the question. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the motion's been made and seconded to move ahead with the Opportunity Bank offer with added conditions, and to also have an appraisal done on the building. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay, that was our last agenda item. Is there anything else?
I have two, and the first one I think will be Allison. She sent an email to us and wanted to know if, for her office for about 8 weeks, if she could hire a short-term employee just while she and,
We're growing our family.
right? Katria will be out of the office. And I think, my only comment was, let's keep it under 30 hours a week, so that we don't run into a situation where Teamster says, hey, fork up some money for health insurance. So, but it's not me creating a new position, this is just fill-in, so it doesn't hit the budget, and it's more ministerial, so we should give our approval in public, but it doesn't need to be on the agenda, would be my understanding. So, any questions? Allison, thanks for coming.
What was the-
Anything that I missed?
How long was the time period you're requesting, Allison?
So it would be 8 weeks, basically, to cover the time that Katria is on maternity leave.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's a little hard to predict when that will start, but it would be 8 weeks from when she starts her maternity leave. To pay for the position, it would be from salary savings from that position, because she hasn't been with the county long. She doesn't have a whole lot of sick and vacation time, unfortunately, for her, but because of that, we do have some salary savings, so it would just be using that to cover. If we stay under it's just my understanding from visiting quite a bit with Michelle, is if it's a short-term employee and we're watching the hours, we're not obligated to pay any benefits, it would just be the salary, because we still would have to pay benefits for Katria. So basically just kind of be swapping salaries, and I would probably, because that person would have fewer responsibilities, it would be at a lower rate anyway, so I mean, I think we'll be fine, and I'll work with Debbie to make sure that we are staying under budget, or within our budget anyway, so it shouldn't cost any more.
All right.
And it would just, like I said, just be while Katria's on maternity leave, and, like, in weeks when I'm in the office, like, there'll be a couple weeks like in May, when I'm out of the office quite a bit, and then there'll be some overlap in maternity leave more than likely. And so those would be the weeks that we really need someone here, weeks when I'm in the office, like the whole week, because there'll be some of that too. That person, even though I love their help, really probably doesn't need to be here as urgently, and there'll be less hours those weeks, so. That's kind of the plan, or that's what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you guys.
Right. Are you gonna advertise it, or do you have somebody in
I
mind?
have to advertise it according to Michelle.
Yep.
I have been putting out some feelers to people, and you know, to be honest, I'd love someone who has some experience with 4-H, so they can kind of maybe help get ready for fair and some things like that.
Yep.
But we do have to advertise it, and we will open it up to anyone.
Okay.
BCDC listserv has given us some really good numbers of how many people it's hitting, so I would suggest using that. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up today is to give Allison a chance to get this out there
Okay.
ASAP.
Yeah, I'd like to advertise as soon as possible. My hope is to at least have someone that can be ready to go like in early May, kind of on call, I guess, you know, when we get the word that Katria's had a baby, so.
Alright.
Yeah, that would be my hope, if
Alright.
it works out.
Good enough. Yeah, I think that we can authorize Allison to do that. Yes.
All right, so to make it official, I will move that we allow Allison to hire a short-term employee to cover Katria's maternity leave, less than 30 hours per week, for the time frame that she needs.
I'll second that.
Motion is made and seconded to allow Allison to hire short-term help for the extension office during maternity leave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
So I have two more questions that are not on the agenda, that are more management stuff.
Okay.
So the first one is Blackfoot. I know we'll be talking about this here in a couple weeks. And I printed Daryl and Michelle's emails, just for reference, but we do have, or we're supposed to have, 2 months, the first 2 months without charge, and it appears that they went ahead and billed us anyway. So one question is, should one of us contact Scott Lester and tell him that they need to follow their contract with us and give us that 2 months? And in the meantime, do we want to instruct Michelle to put together a claim, in which case we need to tell her where to take the additional money from. It's about $900 more per month. And from her rundown, there's quite a few of these where it's going to be a hardship on those departments to come up with the additional charges. So it's like $60 more minimum per department, with some even higher than that.
Do we even use these fax lines?
I don't think so. One of the things with...
What they're charging us for numbers we're not using anyway, right?
Exactly, and when Blackfoot did not come in to do this, and they should have, we talked about that earlier, but when Connect was brought in to kind of put out the fires, one of the things that they talked about is you don't want to necessarily give up all these phone numbers that you're not using today because you lose your number sequence. So through Connect and CenturyLink prior, we had kept those numbers, and because they were dormant, there was no charge. Well, now, even the dormant numbers are $60 per month or $58 per month charge. So, that's, the question is, do we want to get rid of those numbers? Will Blackfoot work with us? This is quite a hefty financial surprise. So, some questions for them, but in the meantime, I guess what I would be thinking is, if we can reach out to Scott and remind him of his contract, and just let him know that we are not planning to put together any kind of a payment till after we have a discussion and further agreement. At least they won't mark us off as delinquent.
Yeah, well, I would think so.
Which we are not, as the phones just got plugged in February, and the bill was for February, yet the contract said we wouldn't be charged for 2 months. So just make sure that there's truth out there.
think we contact them, tell them, we're supposed to get the first 2 months free, and also, what's it gonna, if we're not gonna use these fax lines, I don't see why we need to have them. And the other thing is, if we're not gonna use those other lines, maybe if we have to pay a reserve fee on them, but we shouldn't be paying a fee for the use of the line.
Exactly.
In particular, the ones out at the fairgrounds, right?
Well, yeah,
That was-
$150 more per month at the
That's
fairgrounds.
pretty expensive.
So what
Yeah.
is the consequences of giving up those numbers?
It's not a huge deal, but you do lose your number sequence. So right now, commissioners are 9270, 9271, and 9272, whatever it is. So it just makes it easier when you're the public calling the county to remember kind of where you're calling. But if in the future we have to get new phone numbers and it's instead of 266-9270, it's 265-1234, it's not that big a deal. One of my questions, and when I first saw that, was, well, maybe we should all just go to cell phones anyway. Maybe that's a bit drastic too, but maybe it's not. So yeah, it's less convenient for the public, but to save $900 a month, we might have to go to something like that. Not the cell phones necessarily, but not having the sequential numbers.
Mhm.
Well, because road and solid waste aren't gonna use a landline anyway, they're never in our offices,
Right,
supposedly.
right. The number of phone calls though that come in and the messages that they get are quite a few, even though they have cell phones.
Yeah, I need that.
Because of the phone book, we have a lot of people still using phone books and they don't have cell phone numbers.
Are they, let's see, they are, as far as for their internet, they're using wireless via router? It's not through the phone line, is it?
No, it's all supposed to be fiber. And I think some are fiber, but broadband versus hard fiber, hard line.
That's another one, I think they're on the microwave link, aren't they?
Right, yeah,
I know solid waste is for sure, I'm not sure about the road, but.
yeah, I'm not either. I think so, I think Road 2, because I think they wanted everybody. And that's why the fairgrounds, which wanted to stay where they were, got added. But Mike and Michelle are both saying they don't have that kind of money in that budget. It's a pretty small budget.
Well, I think the other part of this conversation is, too, is how much the county contributed to the switchover through Mike Meyer.
Absolutely. I think we should be fully reimbursed for that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna reimburse us monetarily, but at least maybe service-wise.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm still gonna ask.
Are all of these charges just for the phone lines?
Mhm. No internet's there, just phones.
And we still have some CenturyLink backup,
911,
911,
yeah, I
right?
think that's it. Yeah. But Corey helped to write the contract, so I think this should be sent to him, and he should be part of the discussion
Sure.
when we have Scott here.
Right.
I didn't think I thought that they said there was gonna be increasing the internet because of the remember saying anything about the increase.
In fact, I think verbally they said it'd be a lower cost for
Yeah.
us, but that's also why they didn't want us to have any time to think on it. It was really one of those, we're gonna put you over the barrel and you need to make a decision in the next 10 minutes. So, I think we need to have a talk with him, but, yeah, this is shocking. It's, and maybe they're surprised by it too. Maybe they haven't seen this, and when we show it to them, they'll be shocked as well. Help and remedy it.
Where
Yeah.
Blackfoot's a co-op, I think if you raise your hand and say, we are unhappy, I think you'll get some attention.
Well, a lot of them coming here was dependent on the county buying it,
It was.
and I think we have some room for negotiation,
You bet.
I really do, so, that time comes, we'll talk about that.
Did we forward this on, did Corey get a copy of this or not?
I don't know, I didn't look at the,
I didn't send it to Corey, I know that I sent it to Scott.
Oh, did you?
Yep,
Okay.
so he knows what we're talking about, and he gets an opportunity to, look into things on his end and determine that maybe we were overcharged or something.
yeah,
Because if we didn't do that, he'd come here and then we'd present him this and he'd say, well, then I gotta check into it.
oh, absolutely, I think they
Yeah,
were wise
yeah.
to send it.
Right.
Yeah,
So at least this way he has an idea.
So is he come, when, did we put them
The
on the
6th.
agenda?
We wanted next week, but he couldn't make it the 29th, so the 6th.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, the 6th, he will be here, he's on our agenda.
okay.
So will you follow up with him about, the bill question, the 2 months?
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
All right, and if we have to put together a bill, we can talk about where the money's gonna come from maybe next week, okay?
You want me to also tell him we're just gonna hold off on payment until we determine
That'd be great,
this?
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So my next question then is Bill Jiralke. We are going to be working with him to kind of analyze our budget. I think there's still some questions that need to be answered and would like to sit down with Debbie and Michelle to get some details on where they would like focus put. There was something said, and I don't remember who said it, that he was gonna be helping to build the sheriff's budget. I think we're done with him for the sheriff's budget at this point, and just wanna verify that with you guys. Our vote last week was to kind of change that focus to the general fund. And I think that if Wynn wants to hire him to help him build the sheriff's office budget, that's fine with me, but I think that should be paid for by them, not by the general fund. Do I have a different understanding, or are we all, is that the way we all see it?
Well, actually, I think they met last night, didn't they? Didn't they meet with Bill? Wasn't that on their agenda to meet with him and
They may have,
kind of continue some of their discussions as. So I'm not really clear on that.
my question is, I don't mind if he comes, I think he's done a
Yeah.
great job, but who's paying for it at this point?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk with Brandon Wynn and see what their thoughts are. And,
Okay,
if they still think they need to meet with him maybe this was the only one they needed, I don't know.
just to put
Yeah.
things to bed maybe?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. And, but, cause their budget still is gonna be a big portion of, as we go into our budget cycle here. I think we wanna make sure that we're right there.
Yeah, I agree, I'm wondering about the money. You know, $50 an hour is not a lot for a contractor.
Right.
But $50 an hour to do what we already have accounting staff that's doing. I just wanna make sure that what we're paying him for is unique to what we're already providing
So
in
we're not getting a
payroll.
bunch of duplicate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that question's been brought to me quite a bit this past week.
Okay.
or last week. And I just wanted to make sure that we at least had the discussion, so, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that last meeting we had with Bill, and Brandon was here, they set that time to get together. Maybe they're just finalizing some things,
Yeah,
but let's find that out first. And then,
Okay.
And then we can go from there.
sounds good, sounds good. Right, that's all the questions I had.
Okay. You got anything, Darryl?
No,
The interlocal agreement last night was canceled. So far, really, the only thing that they have there is that they want to, instead of making that single payment for the car, they wanna make that part of the, they wanna make that inclusive with their monthly payment. And then have it separated out, because this is when somebody comes to find out where did the money for the car go, you gotta go through a bunch of circles to get there. They just want it to come in part of their monthly payment, and then we just pull it out and put it into the CIP. And then the other thing was they're gonna pull those, that one chart that we had that referenced how many hours each, we get like 7%, they're gonna pull that out of there.
okay.
There'll still be text in there to show you where it goes, but like Jiraki says, that thing's very misleading as to what you're getting, so they're gonna separate that out of there. And then we'll have another meeting, I don't know when it's scheduled for. Other than
Okay.
that, that's basically the only changes in it,
Okay,
that stuff, so.
Yep. Speaking of interlocal agreements, it reminded me that the interlocal agreement was signed with the city of Three Forks last night. And did you get a copy, Ann, to file?
I do, I got the original, I've got it recorded, I don't know who is going to be physically responsible for getting a copy to the Secretary of State, because we agreed to do that. Gallatin County, or Three Forks would let Gallatin County know we're supposed to let the Secretary of State, so.
all right.
So if you figure out who it is, I can email it over to him.
Okay,
All right.
It's just a matter of just sending it
Okay.
to the Secretary of State, Corey Stapleton.
Mhm.
Is that all we gotta do?
Okay.
Send it to me. I'll do it.
Okay. So if there's no other business, then we will adjourn at 2:38, 2:34, 2:34 maybe.
Close enough. For government work.
Now that you're no longer in session, your garbage